Good evening, everybody. This is Keith again. I hope everybody's enjoying their day. Hope everybody had a profitable morning as well. Make sure that you let us know how you did. Always love to hear success. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, please. Like I said, I am already tilted, I think, on tonight's slate. So, nope. Not he didn't come out. Okay, so I'm doing this a little bit different. I wanted to hit on a couple different things. I did want to hit on today's game this morning, but I wanted to dive in depth a little bit about what my thinking was creating a lineup for tonight. Obviously, we had one game that got canceled, so that put kind of a monkey wrench in things. I didn't expect to play two slates, both only 3 games. So it was kind of a little bit different for me, but I made sure that you spread out your bankroll and everything should be good. So I'm kind of starting to sweat with the night games already. I've got some tournament teams and some cash game teams, and finishing up the Rockies game as well. So if you hear a scream, it's because Tula just tied the game with a home run. So a little bit about what I was thinking as far as this slate tonight. Of course, like always, I suggest that you throw your cash game lineup, which should be your most optimal lineup, into tournaments, because if that one goes off and is your highest scoring lineup of the night, then you're going to make sure you want to capitalize on that one. And then I've very, very rarely, unless I'm entering a single entry tournament team or a single entry GPP, will I only put one lineup in that GPP. I usually do around 3 or 4, depending on the games. So I've got some exposure to Waka, some exposure to Richards. And so it's this was what I would like to call my GPP lineup, my home run, my hit, and hopefully take it down. And the reason that I feel like this is a good lineup, depending on what's going on, obviously I did this before the Arizona game started, was because I felt like everybody was going to be on either Michael Waka or Garrett Richards. Pointed both of them out this morning in my rundown. And so I felt like every other pitcher tonight was going to be lower owned, and I was actually spot on with that. What I mean by that is that it looks like in some of the tourneys I'm in, Waka's over 40 and Garrett Richards is over 25. So that's 65% of the pitcher ownership right then and there. So as far as everything else, then this is kind of how it broke down. Obviously, you can tell that the Cardinals are a very highly owned team today. Obviously, going against a rookie pitcher in St. Louis, it was something that you might want to make sure that you have exposure to. I only stuck a couple in there because I didn't want to hang all my eggs in one basket for them, but I made sure that I thought Colton Wong was going to be lower owned. Make sure that there were some lower owned guys in separated through here. So just like I said this morning, I always will target right-handed pitching against the San Diego Padres. I know Jeremy Hellickson isn't a lot to look at, but he is he has had success against the Padres recently. So at 6.6% owned, I feel really, really good about that one. And obviously we'll see as the night goes. So you can see that I actually stacked the Arizona Diamondbacks. AJ Pollock, 17.5% owned at $4,200. I like that play. Nick Ahmed, which I'm surprised that he's so low owned. And the reason is probably going to be because Johnny Peralta is highly owned from the Cardinals. So then you got Paul Goldschmidt, who at $5,600 is 22% owned. I'm assuming Albert Pujols is probably pretty highly owned as well, along with Logan Morrison and Anthony Rizzo. So the other sneaky play, obviously, we've got Colton Wong and Mike Trout, both over 50% owned. So it doesn't really matter to me what those guys do. It's just going to kind of put me in a position to capitalize off of these lower ownership guys. So 3-game slates are really hard to kind of peg down the ownership levels. But I feel like Dan Robinson leading off for the Angels is in a good spot, obviously, and we'll see what he does. So that's just a little bit of insight of what I was thinking when I built this lineup. Hopefully it goes off, or if mine doesn't go off, it's one of your guys' that goes off instead. So there's that. Now we're going to go back here to the projection tool. Here is something that I always do. We're going to go over here to projections, and these are actually the settings that I used today. They're the settings that I use on a lot of days. So I'm revealing kind of a little secret here for you guys. But the great thing about it is that it doesn't matter how or if I give you the settings or not. If you don't apply the information, then it's something that you still won't come up with the same lineup as mine. So we're going to build today a cash game lineup as if they are a GPP lineup as if everything we're playing on the all-day slate. Obviously, when you refresh, it automatically, after games are postponed, I'm going to take them out right here. So it's automatically going to take out the postponements. That's a pretty cool little feature. It took me a while to realize that. So that'll be kind of nice. So I've got everything as a 1 here, and we're going to use we're going to go through FanDuel here. We're going to run an optimized lineup here real quick. And slam bam, thank you, ma'am. You can actually look back on some of these and see how close our projections were to what they actually scored. I believe Clayton Kershaw was actually he finished with 15 points. We had him. My projections had him at 16.4. Andrew Susak was 5.5. I had him at 4.22. So my projections are relatively close. This would have been my optimal lineup. I always how I do it, but I always go through and I break down everything to kind of look and see and make sure that they are in a good position. So we're going to go back over here to our projections, and we are going to scroll over here to the betting situation. And I'm going to highlight here, and I'm going to conditional format, and I'm going to do this one by one for you guys. And you can see that the betting situation, it'll have the favorites at 1.05. A pick'em game is probably going to be a 1. And then if they're underdogs, it's going to have it at a 0.95. So that's just the settings that it kind of goes through there. And then investment, this is for the total over under, and it adjusts them as it needs to. So we're going to conditional format, and then we could sort as we need to. Next adjustment is something I look at a lot. I want to know how strong my pitcher is that's going that day. So, and then we're going to go over here to ballpark adjustment. Ballpark adjustment is always really, really, really key. A 1 is going to be basically a neutral park shift. It doesn't favor hitters or pitchers. And as it goes down, it's going to favor pitchers. As it goes up, it's going to favor hitters. As you can see, Masahiro Tanaka, who laid an absolute egg this afternoon. I told you he was going to be one of the higher pitchers owned, and he absolutely was. He had a positive park shift over here, and he didn't even come close to points. I mentioned this morning that if I was going to play the afternoon or the all-day slate, I would have been stacking Astros again, and that looks like it would have been a good call. So customized projection, I'm going to go next to. I've already conditionally highlighted those, and I sort largest to smallest, and it sorts everything as it updates, and it makes it to where I see obviously the highest highest projected points first, and then it scrolls all the way down to the lowest. So then I can go over here to value. I'm going to conditional format that, and I'll show you exactly why I do that here in just a little bit. Base projection, I kind of leave alone because pretty much the same exact one as the customized projection. So now I've got all of that taken care of. So what I'll do after that is I will go over here to starting lineup. Let's make that a little bit bigger here. Starting lineup, and I will click bench. Basically what this is going to do is going to take all bench players out of play. If they're not in the starting lineup, then or the projected starting lineup, then it's not going to even take anything into consideration. It won't even show you it won't even show you their name or their projections. It'll just kind of hide everything. So that's something that I always do as lineups get released and stuff. As I'll look through that, and I'll start to try to break down these matchups and everything. So let's see here. Where did it go? There. Batter versus pitcher. Oops. Not FanDuel contest. Batter versus pitcher. Okay. Had some problems with the spreadsheet this afternoon, so I had to download a new one. I had all this done and ready for you guys, trying to walk you through what I do on a day in and day out basis. I'll go ahead and scroll this over as much as possible without completely hiding it. And then I will make that a little bit bigger. I will put this smaller. HA is home away, bats right, left or switch, obviously. FanDuel position 3 means basically if you were to ever keep score in a score sheet for baseball. Walker just took one off the thigh. Kind of giving you guys play-by-play as we go along here. Maybe if anybody's in line for some sweating some cues or some big tournaments or something, we can jump on and do a live record of like a night sweats program or something. So later on, always bouncing ideas off. But basically, looking at is these are the positions. 3 is first base, 5 is third base, 6 is shortstop, 2 is catcher, 7 is going to be left field, 8 is center, and 9 is right field. So those are always good to kind of know, just in case you don't know those. But it's got it for FanDuel, Draft Day, DK. Boy, this could be huge if he ends up going out. But then you've got at bats, hits, doubles, triples, home runs, RBIs, walks, strikeouts, stolen bases, caught stealing, average, OBP. It's kind of in one screen, so he's staying in good. I'm going to make this as short as possible to where it kind of pulls everything in, and it makes it to where I can see it. There's this. There's this. That. And I won't want to see this at all. This is just basically showing. I don't need to see the pitcher ID number that much, so I'll scroll this as much as possible. I don't need to see the pitcher ESPN ID, but those need to be able to be accessed. So, but what I do want to see is I'll scroll that one because I want to see who their pitcher is and see the team that they're playing or they're pitching for, and I want to see what hand they throw. So I don't really need to see game time, but on days like today, it kind of becomes helpful. So I'll do that right there. This FanDuel PPPA, okay, over here on the end, this right here, that's FanDuel points per plate appearance, and that's going to be against that pitcher. Okay, so that's something that is really, really useful. I'm going to do this right here, format those, both of those. And then I'm going to take right here and I'm going to drag it all the way over to the edge. Okay. And I'm going to click over here on sort and filter. I'm going to click filter. Now, what this allows me to do is it locks everything in basically that one spot. Okay. And now we're going to go through and we're going to start custom formatting these. We're going to always, if it's a good stat, the higher the number, the greener you want it to be. If it's good to have a low number, you want it the exact opposite. So some of you guys might be saying, yeah, I know this, but I actually didn't when I started messing around with Excel. And so the good thing is that I'm trying to explain somebody just in case they're coming on new. And so we've got walks, we've got a high number is green, and strikeouts, a low number is going to be good over here. So we're going to flip it over here. We're going to go, we're going to go high is bad and low is good. Okay. So stolen bases over here, we've got high is good, low is bad. Over here, we've got bad. Okay. So now we're going to do this. And this all updates based on the pitching matchup and everything on that. As you go through it, you might need to, because certain players have a better obviously have a better BVP than others. So you might need to go through and actually reformat these after you update for the next day's games, but no big deal. It doesn't mess up the sheet as long as you keep everything locked and everything good to go. You should be fine. So now that I've got all this kind of situated, then I can start to go through here and I can start to pick out who I want to target as far as hitters against pitchers that have a good BVP against those hitters or against those pitchers. So the first thing I'm always going to do, especially for GPPs, is I'm going to go home runs. Okay. Click on the home run arrow. I'm going to unclick blank. Okay. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go largest to smallest. Okay. And you see how it automatically just redoes everything and readjusts everything. The good thing about it is that now it's kept everything in line with everybody. This isn't going to mess up your data. It's not going to mess up your refresh, and it's not going to mess up your when you run your optimal lineups. But what it does help do is kind of look at the stats as you want to look at them. So if you want to look at home runs, then you can look at the home runs. You can see that Ian Kinsler over here. Make this a little bit bigger for you guys. we can see that Ian Kinsler over here has in 44 at bats, he's got 15 hits. He's hit 4 home runs off of John Danks. Okay. And that's a 341 average with a 370 on base percentage, and he's slugging 705 with a 1.074 OPS. That is absolutely unbelievable. And if the Tigers would have played today, you can bet that Ian Kinsler would have found his way not only into my cash game lineups, but my lineups as well. And I would have been locked everywhere. So be a phenomenal play today. Okay. Then I could have gone down here and I could have gone to Edwin Encarnacion versus Giovanni Gallardo. Obviously, that wouldn't have panned out today, but you can't go based off of one day. You have to go based off of the numbers. You could have did it because of only 11 at bats, but to have 3 home runs and 11 at bats, that's saying something. That means he's picking up the ball out of the hand. So Victor Martinez would have been another one. And you can kind of go down and look through here and make sure that everything that you want to see is good to go. So as far as GPPs, I always start on home runs, and I always put weight on the at-bats. What kind are they seeing? Is it just going to be 7, or is it going to be 3, or is it going to be 49? So another way you could have done that is you could take this right here and click on 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's go all the way. And so it's only going to take into account 10 and above. Sorry, not 9, 10. 10 and above, and it just gets rid of all those players. So that's the good thing. For cash games, what I look at first is does the guy – I go the this is going to be funny. I go, does the guy – can he get on base? Okay, so I'm going to sort largest to smallest. I've already done my 11 or my up to 10. So I'm going to take this into consideration. Does he get on base? 583. He gets on base. Lock him. Then you can start taking this all the way down, and you can see kind of who does well against others and who doesn't. So Nolan Arenado would have been a good play today. I think he had a couple hits. DJ LeMahieu had a hit. But Tim Lincecum came out of that game early. So Paul Goldschmidt is actually up at the top here, as you could see in my other lineup. David Freese was in that lineup. So a lot of this is kind of how I use some of that weight. So after that, this is really, really, really important. Okay. When you're done analyzing these stats and writing a bunch of these down, okay, you want to go back. You want to select all on all of them. You want to put them back to the original, not necessarily the conditional formatting, because that doesn't matter. But you want to make sure that you've got it. Okay. One other one to kind of take a look at is if you go Z to A here. Oh crud! No. Hold on, I got to take the blanks back out again. I'm sorry, guys. Hang with me here. Okay, I'm going to take the blanks out and they here. I could go all the way down to blanks here. And let's redo this. Yep. Okay. So, and then you can see that Matt Joyce, he's got set 1 at bat. And it looks like 1 single, 2 RBIs, 3 FanDuel points. So that's when you want to go here again. I know I'm bouncing around, guys. Hang with me. And press OK. And it'll filter it again. So you can see Edwin Encarnacion is a big one that he's actually – performed well at. Starlin Castro is another one. I'm sure he'll probably have a good game tonight against Waka. the Cubs are already out to a 1-0 lead, and the Angels are already out to a 2-0 lead. So those are just some BVP stuff that I go through. We're going to select all here. We are going to, and returns everything back to normal. Okay. So that's the good thing about that. And then I can go over here to all pitchers. Or all batters. Okay. It'll show me what my career plate appearances versus power pitchers are versus finesse pitchers, last 7 games. It can show me all of that. This is stuff that is in the tool for you to be guys. You can see that this will do last 30 points per plate appearance, and this will be an average. Okay, if you're gonna keep scrolling, always kind of shrink these so you can know. If you want to know what they are, what you can do is you can go up here to view, freeze panes, and you're going to freeze the first column. And what it'll do is it'll freeze it to where you can Giancarlo Stanton, his last 30 plate appearance or points per plate appearance is 0.79. Okay. You can conditional format these. And then you could take this, you can, as long as you highlight it all the way across, they will all stick with each other. And then you can take this and you can sort come on. A to Z. Why is it not doing that? Sorry. On this one, you've got to do the one below. So it'll sort all of them. There you go. So now you've got your idea of last 30 points per plate appearance. Obviously, Jerry Sands, he's been out for quite some time. So you can go over here, you can highlight him, and you can say, okay, I'm just not going to pay attention to the first guy and everything like that. So I've got the first thing I do on Mondays when I download the new spreadsheet, if there's any major updates, especially, is I go through and I start customizing all this again. So it's got my set lines, my conditional formatting. That way I don't have to do it on a day in and day out when I'm looking at a lot of this stuff. So so now that we've taken all this stuff, we can go here to is it baseball? No. We can go here to all batters. Sorry. Betting lines. And we can start looking at these. Who's the favorite? Who's the underdog? We can look at this. We can highlight. We can make sure that we know what the line total is, the game, who's the favorite, who's the underdog. And we can take all this in consideration. And then when we've built all of that and all of that information, basically, that's when you want to go over here to your hunches and exclusions. Okay. Obviously, we had a couple of players that we liked, that we saw, that were in good spots this afternoon. One of them I know was Edwin Encarnacion. So I'm going to type him in there. The other one was, what was it? Who was it? I'll see it here in just a moment. Oh, Starling Castro. We'll do that since he's playing right now. So we'll do Starling Castro. No. And we'll be good. So then we go, obviously, over here to FanDuel and your model. Guys, remember, I downloaded the spreadsheet like 5 minutes before I started so I could show you how I. And then there we go. We've got our good matchups in there. Our value's been shot up, and we've got our optimized lineup for a GPP. Now, roster construction on a GPP is a little bit different than on a cash game. For a cash game, I would not put Starling Castro in just because of his high strikeout rate and the pitcher that he's facing, even though he has very, very good BVP numbers against him. But I would leave Encarnacion in there just because he's the type of player that in any given moment he can go off and he could hit a grand slam and a 3-run home run. So that's a little bit about how I would do it. I'm going to go over here and I'll run a cash game lineup, and it'll probably be very close, seeing how I didn't throw in a lot of adjustments or anything like that. So that's kind of how I use a lot of this. I do a lot of research. I write a lot of things down. I'm going to show you next time, probably next week, how to use this page a lot, because there's a lot of numbers over here that we didn't go through. Just remember, guys, you can always take this and customize it and do conditional formatting. It does not mess up the settings or anything as far as running the lineup tool, but it allows you to a color visualization of what could be good and what could be bad. That way you're not just staring at numbers. You can kind of sort by the colors as well. So guys, for Spreadsheet Sports, this is key. Done today. Nothing is coming out tomorrow. Back on Monday, I will let you know what I think about the games going on Monday, and go over some optimized lineups. As far as the lineup deconstruction, let you kind of know how the lineup that I went through tonight did, and give you a final snapshot of it, and hopefully help you guys out in a lot more ways. Guys, if you have any questions, please give me a shout on Gmail, or not Gmail, Google Plus, or on Twitter. Happy to answer any of those. And if you're stuck, if you need help with a certain scenario, if you're struggling, maybe give you a different insight, I can help with all that. And it always helps to have somebody to talk to get a different perspective on exactly what you might be doing that's working or that's not working. So have a good night, guys. Good luck tonight in everybody's games, and we'll talk to you Monday.